Good morning and welcome to First Unitarian. Please rise in body or spirit as we sing Lead with Love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with... Again. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Don't give up hope. You're not alone. Don't you give up. Keep moving on. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Lift up your eyes. Don't you despair. Look up ahead. The path is there. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. I know you're scared, and I'm scared too. But here I am, right next to you. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. You gotta put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. Put one foot in front of the other and lead with love. And lead with love. And lead with love. One more. And lead with love. Long one. And lead with love.
Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Rochester. It is so good to be with all of you. Here it is our mission that through spiritual connection in community, we listen deeply to others and ourselves, we open to wonder and transformation, and we serve together with love and humility. I'm the Reverend Sherry Kwan. I use they and she pronouns, and I'm one of the ministers that serves this congregation along with my colleague, Reverend AJ. And leading worship with the two of us, we've got Pablo and the choir and Amanda and our AV team and all of you. It's not Sunday without you, and it is so good to be together. If you're new or newish here, I invite you to stop by the welcome desk and connect. Help us help you get more connected here and know what's going on. And if you came today because you've got something heavy in your chest, you're worried about yourself or someone else, I invite you to connect with our pastoral care team. You can reach us throughout the week, but if you want to talk to someone today, we've got Phil in the back with a beige and rainbow stole, and he's happy to connect with you. Oh, all right. Well, here at First Unitarian and in the wider world, we are tilting into a big holiday period. On Thursday, on Thanksgiving, we have our interfaith Thanksgiving service at Asbury First. It's the 150-something 5th time we've done this. It's the oldest interfaith Thanksgiving service in the country. So I invite you to join us at 11, and then at 1 p.m. there's a potluck right here. And then we tip into December, which is busy here at First Unitarian. Not only do we have Christmas, but we also celebrate the winter solstice and a very special holiday called the Greater Good. And the Greater Good holiday, that celebration challenges us in our humanist tradition to know that we can do something powerful together, that goodness comes when people join together. And so we invite people to sacrifice their holiday spending. Not all of it. We want your kid to have a gift, and we want there to be a meal on your table, but we invite people to give a significant portion that they might otherwise spend, to lean away from consumerism and into community. And we give big gifts to 2 different community organizations that our children vote for. And so today we have a video from the first of our organizations, Rock Maidan.
You can't be a bystander. You can't be a bystander. You have to help those who need your help. As a small volunteer organization, we can't do all this work by ourselves. So we truly rely on the support from the community. If it wasn't for our donors and if it wasn't for the Rochester community, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. We are known for a few things. We routinely send medical beds and walkers, crutches, wheelchairs, with medical backpacks, and those are the ones, they're similar to individual first aid kits. The crutches and wheelchairs and walkers, they have become priceless commodity because it's easier to amputate a limb than try to repair it. And the reality is that every single day, there are more those who need them. And every time you see an image of an apartment building that was bombed, just stop and think. Every window was a family. We really count on every single person to donate to Rock Maidan to help us do our job and to help Ukrainians to survive this war. The reality is that even if the war would end today, our work will not stop. And our mission, our goal is to save lives more than anything else. That's why we concentrate on sending medical helps and humanitarian assistance to Ukraine. We just would like to express gratitude to our donors and supporters, and we thank them for their past support, their present support, and their future support.
Ukraine is not only in the news this week, but also in the hearts of our children who have selected this organization to be one of our 2 Greater Good recipients. We'll celebrate together in a few weeks' time, but right here, right now, I invite you to take a nice, comfortable breath and settle into your seat. We gather just as we do each Sunday in celebration and acknowledgement that we gather on the contemporary and ancestral ground of the Seneca people, the keepers of the western door of the Haudenosaunee. And we gather in gratitude for this community and join our words together as the Charette family comes and lights our chalice. Life is a gift for which we are grateful. We gather in community to celebrate the glories and the mysteries of this great gift.
Listen to a little portion of the piece that would be awesome if you'd be willing to join us. So overall, it's a beautiful arrangement of the hymn, How Can I Keep From Singing? But there's a part where we sing that phrase 6 times in a row, each time a little bit differently, but I want you to give it a try. So it sounds like, how can I keep from singing? Let's try this. And 1, and how can I keep from singing? There's a little bit of piano, and then
Storm can shake my of an exciting morning for me because I get to tell 2 stories. So the first one is opening words. And I have a story from my own life that I'm excited to share with you. It's about one of the first times I had a job working with children. And I worked at the summer camp that I went to as a kid. Has anybody gone to summer camp? Yes. I loved this summer camp. It was like my favorite place in the world. And I was 21 and I wanted to go back. I hadn't been back for a few years and I wanted to spend the summer with my sister. And so I went down to the YMCA because it was a YMCA camp, and I interviewed for a job, and they were looking for a bunch of different roles, and they said, "Do you like teenagers?" And I said, "I really like teenagers. I do like teenagers. I've always liked teenagers since I was one." So that was my answer to their question. And so they said, "Great, we have a job for you. You're going to help lead the Leaders in Training program and work with like 14, 15-year-old kids, helping them learn how to be counselors, leadership, and some adventure education." So I said, "Okay, cool, sounds good." So I went there, and I went up to camp, so happy to be there, and a couple weeks in, it became very clear to me that I was not prepared as a 21-year-old, the 21-year-old that I was, to be leading a group of 14, 15-year-old kids. I felt very overwhelmed. I was scared. And so, but I kept going, because that's kind of me. I'll keep trying, so I kept trying. I'd lead them through walks in the woods, and we'd get lost, and then we'd find our way back, and I'd be like, "That was adventure education," right? Outdoor education. And a few weeks into the summer, my friend Scott Arizala, who was the assistant camp director, and the camp director, whose name I don't remember, called me into their office, and they said, "We would love to invite you to work in the archery range." Yeah. And I felt kind of humiliated, but actually very relieved. Also very relieved. And then at the end of the summer, all the children left, and they invite the directors. The camp has a special meal, an end-of-the-year meal to celebrate the counselors. And so they give each of the counselors an award. And so Scott invited me up, and he said, "I want to award you the Smoke Jumper Award." And if you don't know what a smoke jumper is, those are the people that jump out of helicopters into giant forest fires to try to put out the fire. And so I really appreciated that, because I felt pretty bad. I felt like I had not made a great judgment call and gotten myself a little in over my head. But Scott saw about me that I was a risk taker and willing to try something that I wanted to do, even though I wasn't quite ready. And isn't that why we come to church? To take risks, try new things, sometimes fail, and have people strive to see what is really good in each of us. So I'm going to invite you now into conversation with each other. You might talk about a time that you tried something that took some courage. So go ahead and turn to your neighbor and have a little conversation. beautiful conversations that you're having. Maybe put a little bookmark and return to this conversation with the person that you're talking to. Thank you. Thank you, Pablo. K-pop Demon Hunters, man. It's a great show. All right. So I have a question for you. Well, first, actually, if there are any children who aren't sitting right up in the first couple rows that want to come forward to the carpet, you're welcome to come. And if you're sitting in one of the first two rows, I'm going to invite you to sort of stay because you're already up pretty close, and we're tight for space on the carpet these days. But if there are kids that are in the back and they want to come forward, come on forward, and then we'll all be up here together. Great. So So, my story starts with a question. Have you ever heard of naked mole rats? Have you ever seen one? So naked mole rats live on the eastern half of the continent of Africa. They live most of their lives underground, and most notably, they are they're still mammals, so they do have hair, but they're nearly completely hairless. The dramatic lack of hair, along with their pale pink skin, is what won them the title, naked mole rat. So today's story is about a naked rat. I knew I was going to do that. Oh, that's a tricky one. It's a tricky one. Say it 10 times fast, but not right now. So another thing to know about this story is that it's by Mo Willems, who's a great storybook author. So today's story is about a naked mole rat named Wilbur. Wilbur lived in a large colony of naked mole rats underground. In many ways, he was just like all the other naked mole rats, but there was one thing that made Wilbur stand apart from the crowd, which is that he liked to wear clothes. Yeah. While all the other naked mole rats ran around, naked, Wilbur enjoyed getting dressed up in a variety and different combinations of clothing. Sometimes he wore a hat with socks. Sometimes he wore a dress with loafers. And sometimes he just wore a belt. It made him happy to wear clothes, and so that is what he did. The other naked mole rats did not understand this. Being naked was what felt right to them, and seeing Wilbur dressed in clothes made them, there's really no other way to say it. It made them uncomfortable. When they passed Wilbur wearing a suit coat and sneakers or a bathing suit and a feather boa, they averted their eyes. How embarrassing, they thought, a naked mole rat wearing clothing. Some of the other naked mole rats were less kind. They acted as if Wilbur, dressed in overalls and swim goggles, was a personal attack on them. They felt that their very good and sensible decision to remain naked was being brought into question. How dare you, they said to Wilbur. Naked mole rats have always been naked, and that is how it should remain. This did not make any sense at all to Wilbur, who didn't see his choice to wear flip-flops and a cardigan had any impact on them. But clearly, they felt it did. One day, a naked mole rat who happened to be a cousin of Wilbur's invited him over for tea. Wilbur showed up wearing nothing but a blue beret on his head. He had decided to be a little more conservative in his choice of dress. And his cousin was relieved. Come in, said Wilbur's cousin. And Wilbur entered the room, but when he did, he saw that there were a bunch of other naked mole rats there. This was an intervention. They brought out a giant portrait of Grandpa, the oldest, greatest, and most naked mole rat of them all. Look how regal, they said. Look how heroic. And look how completely, absolutely, entirely, and totally naked. Wilbur nodded his agreement. Grandpa did look regal. He did look heroic. But, said Wilbur, he would still look regal and heroic in a casual shirt and summer slacks. He thanked his cousin for the tea and left. Something needs to be done, said one of the naked there you go again. It's tricky. It's tricky. Said one of the naked mole rats to the other. And they set out to find Grandpa. They found him relaxing in his favorite chair, reading a book. And then the naked mole rats all started talking at once. He has no respect for our way of life. He refuses to take off his clothes. He's setting a bad example for the younger naked mole rats. Grandpa simply held up his hand and waited for all the shouting to stop. "You've given me a lot to think about," he said. "Gather the colony. We meet tonight." The naked mole rats left, feeling reassured that Grandpa would set this ridiculous situation to rights. That evening, the colony gathered. Wilbur, like all the other naked mole rats, had received the invitation to attend. There was just one problem. He could not figure out what to wear. In the end, he opted for a modest pair of socks and nothing else. Better to play it safe, he thought to himself. But when Wilbur arrived at the gathering, he was caught by surprise. There was Grandpa in his usual place of honor at the table, dressed head to toe in a snowsuit and a tiara. Wilbur's heart leapt, and he leaned in as Grandpa started to speak. "Like my grandfather and his grandfather before him," said Grandpa, "we naked mole rats have always been naked. But more recently, because of the brave and creative style choices of my grandson Wilbur, I have started to ask myself an important question. Why? And I have come to an important realization. Wearing clothes is fun. I see no reason why any naked mole rat who feels the urge shouldn't wear clothes." At first, there was silence, and then one naked mole rat began to clap. Soon another joined them, and another, and another. It turned out that Wilbur was not the only naked mole rat who liked to wear clothes. And from that day forward, you might find a naked mole rat in any state of dress or undress as they walked through the tunnels of the colony. May this story unfold in your hearts until we are together again. And please join us in singing our children out to their adventures.
We bless you on your journey through, from sheltering arms to the white sky blue, and your joyful jumps and your sad times too. You bless us by being you.
Please join me in the spirit of meditation, reflection, and prayer, beginning with a shared silence. Out of our silence, I offer this prayer, adapted from the words of Reverend Karen Johnston. Great mystery which grounds us and surrounds us, divine presence known by many names and by none fully known. Our hearts are overflowing with lamentation and longing. Lamentation for the violence and genocide increasing across our war-torn world. Lamentation for the hunger and suffering growing in our own nation. Lamentation for our grief personally for those who we mourn. Lamentation for the ways that we ourselves have failed to live up to our highest aspirations. And lamentation for all the losses and sorrows that are the threads of the woven tapestry of life. We hold longing for a world with more hope and less despair. Longing for more happy hearts and fewer hungry mouths. Longing for a life of more connection and less isolation. Longing for a brave love, a growing seed within us, spreading far and wide. Longing for a future of less consumption and more compassion. Actually longing for that now. longing for a government that quells hatred and violence rather than generating it, longing for leaders who speak the truth, longing for a nation that acknowledges its injustices and works to make them right, longing for a present with each of us doing what is ours to resist racism and sexism and all forms of systemic oppression and exploitation, longing for companions to give us courage and to be those companions to others, that we might be the people these times require to bring about beloved community. With gratitude for each new day, each an opportunity for renewal, a chance to take a different risk, and with gratitude for the web of life upholding us, and the network of community tending to us, and the spirit of life animating all that is possible, we give thanks, we grieve our losses tenderly, and we resolve to build a better world. May it be so, and blessed be. We enter now into ritual to bring what is on our hearts and to lay it on the altar of community and spirit. Whatever lamentation or longing, grief or gratitude you may hold within you, bring it to mind. And online, you're invited to share what it is in the chat. Here in the sanctuary, you'll be invited forward to light a candle at one of our altar tables. If you would like an usher to bring a candle to you, please simply raise your hand. And if you prefer to use an electric tea light, there are some available in the back of the sanctuary. May we now share in this ritual of community care and witness to each other's hearts. All that we hold in our hearts for ourselves, for each other, and for the world is held in this community and by a larger love that holds us all, always. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. And please join now in singing Spirit of Life.
Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in my heart all the stirrings of compassion. Blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
All that our church is and all that our church does is made possible by the time, talent, and treasure that we give to our shared mission. Members and friends support this congregation financially through regular recurring giving and fundraisers such as our Hot Wings fundraiser. And on Sundays, we also give through the shared practice of our shared collection. As part of the spiritual practice of generosity, 50 cents of every dollar given now to our offering will go to the National Susan B. Anthony Museum, which interprets the great reformer's vision and story and offers tours and interpretive programs to inspire individuals to make a positive difference. Using Church Center is the easiest way to give, but you aren't set up with our app yet. You can also give by texting GIVE and the number you would like to give to the number on the screen, or you can give in the offering baskets that will now be passed. In the spirit of abundance and generosity, the offering will now be given and humbly received.
Today's offertory is Bright Morning Stars. This arrangement comes from our new virtual hymnal. And we're going to sing the first chorus, Bright Morning Stars, a few times to get familiar, and then we'll sing the whole thing. Bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. Again. Bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. One more time. Bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising, bright morning stars are rising. Day is a breaking in my soul. Verse 1. Rise up from morning slumber, rise up from morning slumber, rise up from morning slumber. Day is a breaking in my soul. Rise up and hear your calling, rise up and hear your calling, rise up and hear your calling. Day is a breaking in my soul. Oh, lift your voice in heaven. Oh, lift your voice to heaven. Oh, lift your voice to heaven. Day is a breaking in my soul. We'll build this faith together. We'll build this faith together. We'll build this faith together. Day is a breaking in my soul. Day is a breaking, one more time. Day is a breaking in my soul.
I like that song. It's good to hear you all sing. In March, Mohsen Mandawi, a lawful permanent U.S. resident, went to what he expected to be a routine immigration hearing. Instead, he was detained. Officials claimed that his student activism at Columbia University opposing violence in Gaza made him a threat. This charge was rooted not in the truth, not in his behavior, but in the political anxieties of that moment, of this moment. Mohsen Mandawi grew up in a refugee camp in the West Bank, and when he moved to the U.S., when he moved to Vermont, he became involved with the local Unitarian Universalist congregation. And like you might expect from a kid who grew up in a UU congregation, when he went to college at Columbia University, he became president of the Columbia University Buddhist Students Association. He called Unitarian Universalism his spiritual home, and even in detention, he spoke from a place of deep faith, drawing from both his Buddhism and his Unitarian Universalism, as well as his upbringing in the West Bank. I am centered internally. I am at peace. I still know deeply that this is injustice. I know around me this is injustice. But inside, I have peace. I have faith, and I have faith that justice will prevail. And then, because courage is contagious, people outside organized. Immigration activists and Unitarian Universalists and people who were both, they called, they marched, they prayed, they resisted, and they refused to be silent. Weeks later, on April 30th, Mandawi walked out of ICE detention to a crowd cheering for his freedom. Just steps away from the place where he had been held, he said, "I have always known that home is where you feel safe and loved. Home is where there are people who make you feel safe and loved. You are my people, and the people united will never be defeated." And then he asked the crowd to sing. Specifically, he asked the crowd to sing Spirit of Life. It was a song that he knew from his congregation, a song that he had practiced and learned, not for that moment, though it came in handy, but because the people next to him knew it, and because it was a song that mattered to that community. Friends, his story reminds us that our faith gives us gifts in moments of trouble. Our faith matters, and as Nancy MacDonald Ladd puts it, we have a progressive religious message that has long served as a balm for the weary and has long served as a foil against those who would twist religion into a tool of empire. Unitarian Universalism matters when we join with others in courageous public love and in private acts of connection. His courage called others forward, and his courage was contagious. I want to do a little survey on risk and courage. And I know that asking you all to raise your hands can feel risky, but bear with me. On that side, let's pretend it's for the folks who really love taking risks. Risks are your best friend. You like to take a risk every single day. You slather it on your morning toast with jam and butter. And on this side, this is for people who don't like risk. No, thank you. Absolutely not. I don't even like toast. I could choke on a crumb. Thank you very much. So, love risk, don't really love risk. Raise your hand. Where would you place yourself on this spectrum? All right. A mixture, a spectrum, just like we would think a Unitarian Universalist congregation would bring forward. Let's try that again. Raise your hand if it's a risk for someone you love. All right. And how about if it's a risk that you're taking alongside someone you love? Your spouse, your child is taking that risk, and you're going to do it shoulder to shoulder with them. It's much less mixed at this point. Being shoulder to shoulder with those that we love, taking risks with the people we love, and taking risks for the people we love somehow makes courage more likely. A few weeks ago, I not so much took a risk or something that required courage, but just something that was inconvenient, and I found it was easier to do with other people. Moving here years ago, I thought, I'd really like to go see the Harriet Tubman House in Auburn, New York. It's not very far away. But then 6 years goes by, and so I used positive peer pressure, and I posted on the church app on Church Center, hey, would anyone like to do this with me? And inconveniently, some of you said yes. So I had to go. And so 4 of us piled into a car, and I learned quite a few things about her story there. I had mistakenly understood her story to be that of moral perseverance and courage that required an incredible and heroic person. And I don't mean to say that that's not true, but from the tour guide who had for decades led this tour because his bishop asked him to, I learned that her story is not one of sweeping courage to liberate hundreds and thousands of people and to undermine the institution of slavery itself, but instead something that started small, close to home, and with her family. When Harriet Tubman first escaped to freedom in 1849, she had every reason to stay safe. And in fact, part of her original plan when leaving Maryland was to bring her free husband with her. But he decided not to go. There was too much at risk. And so she went to Pennsylvania alone. She had work, she had shelter, she had a life. And truly, no one would have blamed her for stopping there, because most people did, if not moving north. Escape was so dangerous that those that made it out rarely risked returning. But Harriet's heart was tethered. She later said that being free while her family remained enslaved didn't feel like freedom at all. And so she made a terrifying decision. She went back. She took a risk for someone she loved, not to free the world, not to liberate a race, not to undermine the very institution of slavery, not yet. She went back for her sisters. She went back for her brothers. She went back for her people, the ones that she loved specifically. Her courage was rooted in specific names and faces, and it became contagious. When word spread that a woman had not only freed herself, but returned for others, enslaved people whispered her name with awe. Her own family members began to imagine possibilities that they did not dare consider beforehand. Abolitionists began to call her Moses, the Moses of Maryland, the one who would free her people and lead them to liberation. People moved forward to hide her, to fund her, to help her plan, and each act of bravery multiplied the next. Her original mission wasn't universal emancipation. It was a specific love made bold, made audacious. But that kind of courage never stays small. Every time she succeeded, and every time others heard about it, other people grew braver. People who had thought escape was impossible suddenly believed that they might be able to. People who had been frozen by fear found themselves willing to run, to escape. Members of northern Black communities offered shelter. White allies took risks that they had never taken before. Allies like those in this congregation who first one family and one household offered their home as a stop on the Underground Railroad, and then it multiplied and others took bigger and greater risks. The courage that began with one woman trying to save her family became a force that helped change a nation. Harriet Tubman didn't set out to save everyone. She set out to save the people that she could not bear to lose. And in doing so, she showed others what was possible. Her courage cracked open a doorway. And this is a truth that we sometimes forget by design. Oppression teaches us that courage must be individual and heroic and big, but it doesn't have to start big to matter. Courage becomes big when others see it and move into that space. What Harriet and Mosen have in common is not heroism. It's not perfection, it's not certainty, it's a willingness to take a risk for the sake of a specific love. Sharon Welch, a Unitarian Universalist ethicist, writes in A Feminist Ethic of Risk that this ethic of risk rejects the heroic model of ethics and politics. It rejects the idea of a solitary hero. Its feminism lies in its interconnection and its rejection of the individual. We need to hear this. We need to be able to live in a model outside of a culture that worships the lone hero and asks the rest of us to watch from the headlines. Because as Welch says, the real work of justice is not heroic at all. It's persistent, it's collective, it's imperfect, and it's shared. She writes that what is required is not heroic action, but persistence, courageous acts that may be small in themselves, but are collectively transformative. This is contagious courage. We see this pattern in Mosen's story. We see this pattern in Harriet's story. We see this pattern when Amanda calls forward the kids, and first no one goes up, and then one kid starts forward, and then they all come rushing. We see this when Reverend AJ and I call you forward to light a candle. People hesitate, and then one person comes forward, and others follow. This is the pattern that we are called into. Another quiz. How many of you would be willing to take a risk if you knew that it would turn out for the better? Yeah, it's a trick question, and I'm really sorry. I don't mean to be mean, but that's not how risk works. That's not the definition of risk. Risk and courage are difficult because we do not know how things will turn out. Welch tells us that we have to learn to act without the assurance of success, for it is in the very act of resistance, the very act of possibility that we create possibility. We act without guarantees, without certainty. We act because our faith asks us to show up anyway. And our faith teaches us that we do not do it alone, that Mosen didn't stand at the gates of detention alone, that Harriet never traveled the Underground Railroad alone. Welch reminds us the power to resist oppression lies not in heroic individuals, but in remembering that we are not alone, in rejecting that myth, and in instead engaging in sustained and cooperative action. Courage multiplies when we show up together. Courage multiplies when you see someone else in a yellow shirt or scarf. Our tradition is equipped for this moment because we carry with us a conviction that love is at the very center of who and how we are. Our beloved community tells us that love ties us together with others and that none of us are alone. And our faith that teaches that love is at the center teaches us too that love is not a feeling, it's not sentimentality, but public, risky, political force. Action between people. It's why we sing, it's why we listen to others and add our voices to the song. We know that courage is sustained by community, and hope is found in daily, repeated practices of those who refuse to relinquish the struggle for justice, in the words of Welch. Like love, hope is not a feeling, and neither is courage. Though we do this exercise to understand how We are moved to take deeper risk. Ultimately, courage doesn't belong to those who love risk. It is a practice, a spiritual practice that we engage in together. I've lost the end of my sermon. Which, if there's ever a moment for courage, what's that? It is pretty risky. That's okay. There we go. So courage becomes a spiritual practice that, like song, we practice again and again and again, knowing that if one person, talking about you, Pablo, or the choir, or one of you who just happens to know the tune, is willing to put forth your voice, others are invited to join in. Hope as not a singular practice, but a shared practice is something that each of us carries, that Unitarian Universalism carries. This is the story not of individuals, but it is our story. It is what we are called into. The days of lending your voice to stand up to a bully in the schoolyard continue in that it demands us to raise our voices and act with courage, but gone is the schoolyard. The stakes are ever bigger, and our courage and our hope must be ever bolder. Come, let us be a people of love made real. Let us be a people of courage. Amen.
Please rise and body or spirit as we sing Courage to Be Who We Are. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, those who have fallen, those who have fallen. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, here for the courage to be who we are, courage to be who we are. And let's sing that first verse a couple more times so we get a little bit more familiar. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, those who have fallen, those who have fallen. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, here for the courage to be who we are, courage to be who we are. One more time, verse 1, and we are here in the memory of those who have fallen, those who have fallen, those who have fallen. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, here for the courage to be who we are, courage to be who we are. We are living in the memory of those who have fallen, those who have fallen, those who have fallen. We are living in the memory of those who have fallen, living with the courage to be who we are, courage to be who we are. We are singing. We are singing in the memory of those who have fallen, those who have fallen, those who have fallen. We are singing in the memory of those who have fallen, singing for the courage to be who we are, courage to be who we are. And now meditatively, we're going to hum this. 1, 2, 3. And And AV team, if you wouldn't mind going back to verse 1, let's do verse 1 a couple more times. 1, 2, 3. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, those who have fallen, those who have fallen. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, here for the courage to be who we are, courage to be who we are. One more time. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, those who have fallen, those who have fallen. We are here in the memory of those who have fallen, here for the courage to be who we are, courage to be who we are.
If you're feeling courageous and able, please help us after the service to stack the chairs. There are 2 types of chairs, and we can push them against the walls. And please join me in the words to extinguish. And remember, next week we will be at 1 service followed by connection. So join us at 10:30 for worship and then connection. Please join me in the words to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, the fire of commitment. These we carry in our heart until we are together again.
We are called to be magnifiers of love, to be able to see hope and justice and courage all around us, and to make it real and ever bigger. I love you. Go love the world. Amen. What's that? Yeah. I was.